Let's drop this. This is, before we even get into it, this is Out of Control by Miracle Mike and the ladies from the 80s. We are live with Extraordinary Victory, aka Candi C La Rock, CC La Rock. And I want y'all to just get settled, get a little water, get some tea, roll your shoulders back, and let's listen to this iconic record that we're going to talk about momentarily. And of course, what's more important is this iconic woman in front of us. Let's get it. Let's drop this.
We're the ladies of the 80s, here to let you know that this whole damn world is out of control. So look at this world, it's very hard. The people go around stealing credit cards, just using your money to pay their debts. And then you get stuck handling the rest.
Young thieves out there breaking in your house. When you open your door, you can't find your spouse, cause she's upstairs bleeding from her mouth. She screamed to be hurt and then they punched her out.
But that's not all, your things are still gone. Why does life have to be so hard? Little kids being harassed by a dirty old man who can't get ass.
Boys and girls just disappear. When you turn your back, they are not there.
Wondering where could they be? And now the parents suffer from misery. So the LTE crew is here to let you know that this whole damn world is out of control.
Hey.
All you party people who want control, say ho! Ho! Say ho, ho!
Drugs galore out on the street. Coke dealers, cheaper sellers, and those funky dope fiends. All those young ones getting high.
Smoking guns, sniffing dope, and they even try to stick a needle in the vein and sniff the glue. No doubt in my mind they pop pills too.
There's a methadone clinic right down the block. Hallucinating, meeting Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock.
Beam 'em up, Scotty.
Yo, homegirl, things are definitely out of control. Did you see that wild shit on the 6 o'clock news last night?
Yeah, I checked it out. That shit was crazy.
Homeboy tried to fake a move,
He ain't got nothing but time.
and you know it.
Okay, so we are going to pull this song up just a little bit later, but I want to make sure that we really give our guests a warm welcome. I want to tell y'all just a little bit about Extraordinary Victory, the queen of the hour, before we even go any further, because otherwise it's just not right. Welcome to Women in Hip Hop Wednesdays. I'm your host, Coco Peila, multi-hyphenate hip hop artist, singer, songwriter, record producer, cultural organizer, and the music midwife. And I hope I said MC. Today, I'm honored to sit with this woman right here whose life reflects hip hop's power, and I would actually even say the power of faith and the power of resilience, the power to transform, uplift, and heal. She is Bronx-born, Sugar Hill Records certified, a hip hop media pioneer, an author, an educator, a community healer. Something to know about this queen is that she signed in the 1980s to the iconic Sugar Hill Records. She became part of the first interracial female duo ever signed to a legendary label. Miracle Mike and the ladies from the 80s dropped this song called Out of Control that we were just listening to, and she's going to tell us a little more about it. But before she even gets into that, y'all need to know, she co-hosted Goldie's Hot Raps, a platform that helped introduce artists who would go on to define generations. She also co-hosted Youth in Progress on 91.5 FM WNYE, uplifting young people across the tri-state area with encouragement, information, and hope. And today, she stands fully in her calling, bridging entertainment, education, ministry, serving at-risk teens and young adults, coaching y'all. And she's walking as a prophetic worshiper, deeply committed to purpose. Y'all, welcome Extraordinary Victory.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up? It's your girl, Extraordinary Victory, aka
Candi C La Rock from Sugar Hill Records. I'm really delighted to be here. Thank you, Coco, for the invitation. Let's get busy. Let's get with it.
Let's get into it. Okay, so um, for those who were not raised in the Bronx or who don't know about the rich culture and the powerful folks from that borough, I want to take it all the way back to your borough and just talk about before the records, before the radio, before the titles. Um, who were you as a young girl before hip hop even came into the picture?
Well, I'm from the Northeast Bronx, where hip hop started. You know, it actually started on Cedric Avenue by 174th Street. So I lived over there also. But before hip hop started, you know, life was really different, you know, before hip hop started. Um, just going to school, trying to do the right thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's basically it before hip hop started. Growing up in the Bronx, it was very community. It was times were really different back then because your neighbors were like your own parents. Your neighbors looked out for you, you know, and we all would come together like a family. And that was on 220th and Bronxwood Avenue. And this is before hip hop started.
Yes. Is there anything that you could say, you know, that you wish still existed from that time?
The love that was in the air, Coco. I'm telling you, it was authentic. There's a lot of fake and phony stuff going on now, which really turns me off.
Yeah.
But back then, growing up, like I said, your neighbors were your parents. I'll never forget one day I was speeding on my bicycle, right? And I still had the mark on my arm today, right here. This mark right here. I fell off my bike. And due to the fact my neighbor across the street, a Jamaican woman, she was a nurse, and she just patched me up like I was her own daughter. You know what I mean? With so much love and care. And so my family and all the other families on the block was hanging out at the Jamaican people's house. And it was beautiful. That's why I got so much love for Jamaican people today, because growing up, they treated me so good. Yeah, I have a special love for Jamaican people. I do. And this is before hip hop started. I had no idea I was going to get involved in that, the rap game, you know?
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about that. Like, what's your first memory of becoming aware of hip hop culture? How you can tell us how old you were and just like what.
Wow, I was a wild, bad girl. I'm gonna keep it 100 because that's how I am.
100. Yeah.
I was smoking, I was drinking, I was carrying on. I was actually doing all the things that I thought a woman did at a very young age. And all of a sudden, I'm walking down the street on 174th Street in Featherbed Lane, and I hear Rapper's Delight. Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. If your girl starts acting up, you take a friend. I said, what is this? This was the first rap record. I was just so excited. I was just moving and grooving and rocking and just loving it, you know, and smoking my weed and drinking. Back then, weed was illegal. It was illegal. You could not smoke weed and walk the streets, you know. But it was very exciting when the first rap record hit it, and I had no idea I would eventually be signed to that label, but it was all good, Coco. It was all good. The feeling, it was like an adrenaline. I don't know if any one of us out there has been to a Broadway show at all or a Broadway show lately. But when you go, I haven't been to a Broadway show in maybe 2 years. Okay. But when you go to a Broadway show, your adrenaline starts flowing. It's something like a major excitement that occurs. And that's the same excitement that occurred when I heard the first rap record, which was Rapper's Delight. Yeah, for me.
I love that. And I actually just went to my first Broadway show maybe 2 months ago, like first one in my entire life. And that adrenaline, you're correct. Like that feeling is like no other. It gets you real emotional. So, okay, what for you, what did hip hop represent to you as a young woman coming up in that era? And what was the point of connection in for you as someone who was not just a part of the community and the culture, moving into someone who now is working with one of the elements?
So we're talking about before I got signed, correct?
Yep.
Right. Okay. Like I said, it was big fun. I was like 13, 14 years old, so it was big fun, party. The B-boys, hey, boys that could, you're seeing this stuff for the first time. Boys that could literally get on the ground and do all these gymnastics. That was fascinating to me. So I would have the boys come because guys wanted to talk to me. So I said to them, So I said to them, it was like about 4 guys, right? So I said, okay, whoever is the best B-boy dancer, I will talk to you. Other than that, you got to step off. They would come and dance for me in front of my building. I'm like, okay, you're good. All right, you're good. All right, all right. But one of them
Yes.
stood out, and it was Charlie Rock. Charlie, yes. My first boyfriend. My boyfriend. Yes, Charlie Rock. Yep.
And he
Most
was,
people,
go ahead.
yeah, most people know Charlie Rock. He's certified Zulu. From Zulu
Yes.
Nation, B-boy, good people. He was the best break dancer. So I was like, yo.
I love this strategy. This is something I think that some of our listeners might have to tuck in their back pocket. Um, so, what do I want to? I guess.
It was the break dancing that was very exciting to me. I think to answer your question, the break dancing, yeah.
And how did you get started into MCing? Like, did you get started before? I mean, I'm assuming before you got signed. So what was that journey like? Like, how did it come into your life?
Yeah, it didn't happen that way, Coco. I was with you want to call him a sugar daddy. Let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100.
Yeah.
I was living with my sugar daddy. Okay. And I'm gonna keep it 100.
Yes.
At the time.
We love it.
Yeah, to be authentic and raw is the best way to be. You know, it really is. So upstairs was a musician. I had no idea this guy was a musician. He came downstairs and said to us that he had some music he wanted to play for us, right? He was a friend of my sugar daddy. He was a friend. Anyway, he came down, he played some music. I didn't even believe it was him. I didn't believe he was a musician. I really didn't. But when he played the music, Coco, I was like, oh my goodness, this is beautiful. I almost started crying. The music sounded so good. Yes, it sounded so good. And then he said he wanted to put together a girls group. That's how this thing happened. And I said, a girls group? And he said, yeah. He said, I would like to introduce you to somebody and maybe put together a group. So I didn't start MCing like most people did. When I met Nancy, AKA Smiley C #1, the other lady of the 80s, the Puerto Rican girl, when I met her, the vibe was just like this. We hit it off. The vibe was right. Yeah. Her and I got together. We started writing, and that was it. It was almost like history. Everything happened bam, 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 bam. So that's how I actually started MCing.
That's amazing. And when y'all first begun writing, did you have anyone in your mind who was like an inspiration? Were you thinking about Rapper's Delight? Like, what was your approach to to it? Because you're the first person who I know who have ever heard that type of story of, you know, beginning from the point of the group. And
This is the way it went down, Coco. Step by step, I'm giving it to you step by step.
yes,
I met Smiley. I didn't believe that Miracle Mike, I didn't believe that Mike was a musician. I was like, yeah, right. When he brought down his little cassette tape
yes,
and played that music, I was like, oh, shucks. He blew me out of my seat. Like I said, I was almost in tears. I said, this music is so beautiful. You are a great musician. I had to give him credit where credit is due.
right.
And then he mentioned to form a female group. And then shortly after that, he introduced me to Smiley, Nancy. Her and I hit it off just like that. Just like that. And before you know it, she was at my crib in the boogie down Bronx. We were writing. It just happened. Well, I got to tell you, my mom and dad are singers, writers, and musicians. So that's how that goes.
So it was something that you grew up around, seeing people express themselves. Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
because I'm like,
That's
just
it.
like that, like just out of the air, you grab the lyrics. And I mean, that is just powerful, but it's interesting to know that you grew up with musical, you know, parents and family. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Sugar Hill Records. How did that deal come into play? You met Smiley C1, y'all started writing, kicking it at each other's cribs, and then from there, what happened?
Michael brought us into the studio back then to record what you call a demo.
Yep.
We recorded the demo, and with that demo, we went to one record label, I think, because we're going back many years, babe. We're going back many years.
That's
I think it was Def Jam. I think we went to Def Jam. Whatever the first label was, they said, nah, they passed on us. They didn't want us. It could have been Def Jam. But then we went to Sugar Hill next. And that was it.
Boom.
That was it. My life changed. My life changed. So what happened, I got a taste of the luxury life. I got a taste of it. So I got to admit, our song didn't blow up like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five or the Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight. It didn't go gold. It didn't go platinum. But I got a beautiful taste of that life. And girl, I loved it. I loved it.
What was it? And how, at this point, how old were you?
Definitely about 21, 22, 21.
And what?
And full of fun.
Okay, with full of energy. I remember them days.
Yes.
So what was it, do you think, that when you say you got a taste of that life and you loved it, like
luxury? Limousines, radio interviews, shows, signing autographs. Yeah, it was sweet. After you finish performing, people wanted to run up on you, different things like that.
And it seems like even before that, like you said, back in the day, you would have the young brothers break for,
break
the
dancing,
opportunity.
auditioning. Break dancing for me. No, the guys that wanted to talk to me on the block.
Yes.
I said, I'm not this. I was something else. I admit I was something else. I said, listen, I ain't talking to nobody unless you could really break dance.
Yes.
You got to be able to break dance for me. And I'll let you come through, pull up, and do your thing. And a lot of them failed the test, but Charlie Rock, forget it.
And that's what I'm saying, is that it's we're going to continue through your story, but I just want to highlight.
Take your time. We can have a part two.
Yes, but especially for the people who are tuning in and learning about you, I can see when we look at the early part of your story, you even as a young girl had a fire, had a certain command, about yourself. So, okay, so I want to talk.
They used to call me Coco. They used to call me jailbait. So you could imagine.
I can only imagine. So is there any other piece about that journey with Sugar Hill Records before we dig into Goldie's hot raps that you want to share? Because this is just a small portion of your entire journey.
Basically, when we got signed, it was just one of the greatest days in my life. When my record actually dropped, it was one of the greatest days of my life. You know, the celebration, the hype when the record dropped. I remember Melly Mel. You know, Mel, it's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. Yes. Mel would come in the studio when we first got signed. He would come in the studio and help us out a little bit. Us being our first time in the studio, being very, very excited. He would help us out a little bit. So those are some very good, fond memories. And just being around celebs and legends, you know, it was magnificent. It was.
Yes. So I want to talk about Goldie's Hot Raps and hip hop media because Goldie's Hot Raps is legendary. You weren't just co-hosting the show, you were helping shape hip hop media, and even like, as we'll talk about, the trajectory of certain artists for some people begun there. So tell us a little bit about, if I was somebody who didn't know anything about Goldie's Hot Raps, how would you explain it to me?
Okay. I was co-hostess and the choreographer.
Yes.
So basically, Goldie's Hot Raps was a very, very, very popular rap show back then. It was like one of the first major type of rap shows on Paragon Cable. And a lot of celebrities that are on fire today, that are hot today, launched their careers from Goldie's Hot Raps. We have, and I can actually present those videos to you of Salt and Pepper doing their thing, Kid and Play doing their kick performance.
Yes.
And Raw Bass. It takes two to make a thing go right.
Yes.
Their careers launched from Goldie's Hot Raps. After they did Goldie's Hot Raps, it was on for them. They were popping after that. So basically, acts would come on to present their talent. The producer, Oliver Richardson at the time, which was Goldie's father, he would bring the acts on, and we would basically present and interview the acts. Now, I got to keep it 100. When Goldie died, that's when I came in as co-hostess. You see? So Salt and Pepper, Kid and Play, and Raw Bass, they had already did their thing.
Yes.
You got it?
Yes.
Yeah, they had already did their thing. Yeah. When Goldie was on the scene, that's when Salt and Pepper, Raw Bass, and Kid and Play were on the scene. By the time I came, Salt and Pepper, Goldie, Raw Bass, and Kid and Play, they were gone. Yeah.
Can you, during that time where you were co-hosting, was there a day or an artist or a moment that really stands out to you that, you know, highlights that?
Girl, I got to give you the video. Yes, I got to give you the video.
I need it.
And I got to keep it 100. As choreographer, I wrote a song called It's Just a Freaky Party. So come on and join us because we want your body. It's just a freaky party. So come on and join us because we want your body. And I did this wild dance. So out of all the shows, I would have to say that stands out the most to me.
And you have the video footage?
I have the video for it.
What?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yo,
okay? All right. You already know.
Girl. Okay, so, I can't wait. Audience out there in Women in Hip Hop Wednesdays podcast land, I will let you know as soon as we get a clip of that.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. And I gotta tell you, it's the old me. It is the old me. All right. Yeah.
But we get
there's
to
a
show
new
love.
me.
Yes.
And there's the old me.
We get to show love and honor the old us though, because the old you is part of, it's the ingredients that transformed into this you.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about Youth in Progress on 91.5 FM WNYE. You also co-hosted there, and the show was centered on youth resources, encouragement. So why was it important for you to use the radio in that way, and how did that come about?
Okay, Youth in Progress Radio. Where did I meet that guy, the host, George Brash? Oh my goodness. I met George Brash back in the day, and he told me that I can't remember where I met him, but he told me he needed a co-hostess for his show. Okay. He told me that he needed a co-hostess for his show. And could I come down and co-host? I said, how much? How much? How much? No, I'm only kidding. I didn't say that. I volunteered. Uh-oh.
You good?
Can you see me?
Nope.
Okay, here we go.
There she is.
All right. Hold on. Let me just set this up, Coco.
Take
Let
your
me set
time.
this up. All right.
Matter of fact, while you setting that up.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, he needed a co-hostess to co-host the show. And I told him, at that time, because my life was changing, my life was beginning to change. And I told him, I said, okay, George, what I do is on the positive tip. Everything
Yes.
has to be on the positive tip. I'm not trying to get out here and do all of this other stuff that's going on out here. There's a lot of stuff going on out here that I really can't get with, you know. But I said I would be more than happy to assist you and bring some positive information, resources, quotes, empowerment, encouragement to our youth. So he said, oh, that would be great. That would be great. He said, can you also report the weather? I said, yeah, why not? That's a great experience. So you would hear me on his radio show go, and today is going to be hot in the 90s. So don't forget your bathing suit, you know, or hit the beach. It's going to be a hot one, you know, or it's going to be cold, or, you know, get your boots, get your gloves, you know. So I was reporting weather, and I was reporting good news on Goldie's on Youth in Progress. And I was also IDing the show. You're listening to 91.5 FM WNYE, Youth in Progress.
Yes. Oh my God.
So all of this was a good experience. So I would even say to your listeners, you know, some certain doors that would open in your life, you may not be 100% for it, but hey, go for it and get the experience. I would say to your listeners, get the experience, because that would help you develop a track record, a good track record. Mm-hmm.
Yes. What stays with you most about connecting with young people through the airways in the way that you did during that time?
What stays with me, the fact, honestly, Coco, that I could really be every week, that I could be a blessing to them, you know, to give them a quote, to encourage them, to let them know that you are cared for.
Yes.
We have love for you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's not over until God says it's over, period.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because some kids feel hopeless for whatever reason. Nah. Now, not when victory's around.
Yes. And that's actually part of what I want to talk about, which is that your journey spans entertainment, education, and ministry. And even on Youth in Progress, when we look at your journey, we see kind of the beginning of that ministry peeking out, although I'm certain that you already carried that gift and blessed people with that gift before it began showing up. Today, you describe yourself as a prophetic worshiper, a woman deeply passionate about serving God and serving people.
Yeah.
What did it take for you to arrive here fully in this, the extraordinary victory that we see today?
Ooh, that is a good, strong question. I'll never forget it. This is gonna be hot. I was living right down the block on 28th and Broadway, right down the block. I had just got off the set with Halle Berry and all of these major stars doing some extra work right here in Manhattan, right? And that night I came in, I just felt, well, first of all, I was on the set with them for 3 days. 3 days. I got paid. I should be feeling really good, right? But something, I felt depressed. And I said to myself, enough is enough. I know what it is. I need God. I need God. I need to get it right. So I got on my knees for the first time in maybe 20, 30 years. I'm like, God, I need you. I need you. I need you. I think it's time for me to make that change. I need real peace. I need real peace. And to make a long story short, 3 days later, that prayer was answered in a very unusual way, but it was answered. Yeah, I met these girls and they invited me to an informal Bible study. And then the rest is really, really history. Yeah.
Yes.
There's a lot of details to that story, but that's how it all happened. I was on the set with major stars. I got paid well. I was with them for 3 days. We're hanging out in between sets. We're laughing and goofing around. I felt like I was on top of the world. But when I left that movie shoot, and went home, I just got depressed. I went down. I just felt down. And I said, oh man, this is it. I know what it is. I really need a relationship with God and not a religion, a relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Girl,
It's so beautiful. And the thing is that you are speaking to someone right now, because it is true that we get presented with all these things on the material plane, money or objects or high profile interactions, but that relationship that you're speaking about is the key. But before I get caught up and start to talking, I wanted to know, how does your faith inform the way that you show up right now? For example, we're going to talk about your book, not one, but two. How does your faith show up? How does your faith inform your writing and your youth work and even your daily life?
Repeat the question a little bit. How does my faith, question because I want to answer.
How does your faith inform, or even I would say like influence, the way you show up in your writing or your youth work and your daily life? How do you see? Because I know that your faith is really important for you. It's a part of your guiding light. Like if something is not in alignment with your faith, it's not going to be in your life. It's not going to be in your
you got to have that faith. You got to have that faith. That's first step. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How does that show up when you sit down to a blank page, or when you sit down to continue writing a book, or when you sit down with a group of youth or one of the youth?
Okay, yeah, let me take it piece by piece, this question. So how does it show up when I'm dealing with the youth? Let's take that piece by piece. It's better to answer it that way. How does it show up when I'm dealing with youth? First and foremost, I've been there where they're at. That's one of the first questions they ask me. Miss Victory, how can you relate to us? And I tell them, I've been there where you're at. I've did it. I've been there. I've been in a juvenile detention center. Hello.
Yes.
I've been in a group home. how can I relate to you? I was really, really there. That's the first thing. I also operate from a love perspective, because I know without love, I'm nothing. I'm nothing without
Right.
love, pure love. So I'm operating from a love perspective. That's my foundation. And dealing with the youth, like I said, I've been there and done that, right? I'm operating from love, and I have a listening ear because they have a lot to share. They have a lot to share. And what really gets me is a lot of them open up to me and tell me things that they have never told anyone. They see me as this confidante, which I
Yeah.
really, really appreciate. And what they share with me, as long as it's not suicidal, I got you, I got it. Yeah. I hope I answered that properly. Dealing with
Yes.
the youth.
No,
Yeah.
you are doing beautifully. I just really want folks to get a little bit of a picture of how your faith, at least from my perspective, learning about what you do and coming in contact with you, that light, that warmth, that love, that
Love is the key. Love is really the key. It's something that a lot of them are missing.
yeah,
Some youth have not heard from their own parents, I love you. Those 3 words.
right,
And it's so important. And guess what? I can relate to some of that stuff too.
right. What, if anything, do you want to share with folks who are tuning in about the things that you overcame as a young girl or as a young person?
For one, drugs and alcohol. Yeah. I was a pothead at the age of 13. I was drinking beer, liquor, whatever kind of alcohol you could put in front of me. For the most part, I was drinking, smoking, a little bit of cocaine. I tapped into the crack a little bit too. I'm so grateful that I didn't stay there too long. I experimented with that crack. And I did this for many, many years until one day I woke up and I said, wait a minute, this is not going to get me anywhere.
Mm.
I got to snap out of this, even though in show business, as you know, Coco, there's a lot of it.
Yes.
So that's a whole nother subject, but there's a whole nother subject maybe for another day, but to overcome this, the light came on, so to speak. Yeah, let me put it like that. The light came on. I said, wait a minute, this is getting me nowhere. I'm not becoming more educated. I'm not becoming more skillful. I'm not meeting the right people. I said 3 powerful things right there. I'm not becoming more educated because knowledge is power.
Yes.
Not meeting the right people. I mean, come on. Where's this really leading me? This is it's like a slow death, using drugs and alcohol every day. And this is what I was doing. You know why? Because I was deep down I was unhappy. I was unfulfilled. Didn't know my purpose. Didn't know my purpose, and just kind of like going around the merry-go-round.
Right.
Yeah. So the light came on.
And now you're the author of multiple books. And I know it doesn't work just like that. Like one day the light comes on, the next day you have these 2 books, you're doing this work here, you're recording songs. I understand that there's so many other layers to it, but I did want folks to hear a little bit about that because so much of your message has to do with resilience, and you are a walking embodiment of that. Your 2 books, you have a memoir, I Am Victory, And you also have a suicide prevention book. What inspired you to share your story through writing, to write both of those books?
Well, actually, this is something that I wanted to do like in 2030 or 2040, if we're still here. I wanted to write books in 2030 or 2040, but I would have to say I was deeply inspired to share my story because a lot of people ask me, where did you get the name Victory? And the name of the book, the memoir, is called I Am Victory. And people ask me, like, where did you get that name Victory from? And then I tell them I had a supernatural encounter with our Creator, with the good Lord, and He changed my name to Victory. And it's in the first chapter of the book. I had a 3-night fight with the angel of the Lord. Yes. And each night He said to me, you are victorious. You have the victory. You are victory. But each night I fought against this. This was in 2004. The book is hot. This was in 2004. And each night I fought against the name change. So many people are jealous of me because I have the name Victory, but that's in the book too. But if they would realize I fought against the name change, night number 1, night number 2, but night number 3, the light came on. I said, wait a minute. God keeps telling me the same thing. I keep hearing, you are victorious. You have the victory.
Yes.
You are victory. I keep hearing that over and over and over and over and over again. So I said, wait a minute. I need to agree with the Creator.
Yes.
If He keeps telling me this, then we have to agree with Him. That's where the blessing is, Coco. To agree with Him is where the blessing is. Yeah. To agree with Him. So on the third night, when I agreed with Him, I had peace, girl, because night number 1, I'm fighting. Yeah, girl, I'm fighting against it. Going to bed screaming and crying and upset. Night number 2 is the same thing. It's all in the book. Screaming and crying, upset, couldn't sleep. But night number 3, I slept like a baby.
I know that's right.
I agreed with Him. Yeah. So basically, but it is a self-help book. Yeah, let me get to that. It's a self-help. The memoir is a self-help book because He is the potter and we are the clay. Yeah, Adam was created from the dust, from the dirt of the ground. He's the potter, we're the clay. So in order to really define self-help, helping self, you got to let the potter get in there and do his thing and do that reshaping you and remaking you. And guess what? It don't feel good all the time.
No.
Make it pushing, but He loves us. He loves us with an everlasting love. So it's all good. So it's self-help. And it's about my name change to victory and that whole experience. And of course, it's a lot of encouragement towards chapter 7. It's 8 chapters. And chapter 7, chapter 8 is a lot of encouragement on basically being who you are called to be. You're not here to please anybody else. You know what I'm saying? You want to be upstairs. Yeah, first and foremost.
Yes. Yes, that's all it's so deep to me too, because I come here so excited, sometimes like almost nervous about interviewing you all. And every time I receive a word, every woman has a really distinct blessing to give through her words. And I appreciate you, sharing this with us. And I wanted to know, because the memoir came first and then the suicide prevention book came. Is that correct?
Correct.
So what made you want to write the suicide prevention book?
Every time I pick up the news, like what we said in the record, did you check out the 6 o'clock news? Every time you hear it's so much of people deleting themselves and things to that nature. And I said, enough is enough. Somebody has to really step up and make a difference here somehow, some way. So I put together a suicide prevention guide, general information for parents, teens, and educators to assist troubled teenagers if they're trying to detour, turn to go in that direction. It's a general information guide for them. Yeah. And I want to back it up with a song too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Put a lot of love in the song,
And as soon as you finish that song, let us know so we can play it and share it with the people. Yes.
Yeah.
You're also offering something really powerful, which I'll ask you about it again at the end. But when people purchase your memoir, they receive the suicide prevention book for free.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And a 20-minute free consultation with me, an Experience Victory free consultation session, free 20 minutes.
Amazing.
We can talk about whatever you want to talk about, strictly confidential. So you get the free book, the suicide prevention book, and the consultation, Experience Victory session.
And you are a coach as well. So that is it's a gift, y'all. And we'll talk about at the very end, we'll talk about how you can get her book and how you can get connected and get connected. Exactly. And we'll also leave some links down below in the YouTube description. So I wanted to talk about this meeting the need consulting. You have a business where you walk in your purpose as a coach, meeting the need consulting, because this work is intentional and mission driven. At its core, you support mentoring, juvenile delinquency prevention, youth development, helping at-risk teens strengthen their intellectual, social, and creative skills. You talked about what happened in your life that inspired you to get into this work. But one thing that I found real interesting when I went on the website and read the mission was that your programs include workshops like music, rap, short plays, peer-to-peer conversations. Why is creative expression such an important part of your work? Because you do so many different things, right? You've also have experience in fashion and other things.
Yeah.
What was it that made you
incorporate creative expression?
Yeah.
Because our youth, they're so talented.
Yes.
So many of them, especially here in New York City, they're extremely talented, and some of them are sitting on their talent. And truly, the good Lord wouldn't want them to sit on their talent. God doesn't want us to waste the talent that He's given us. So I definitely want them to be able to express their talent. So I definitely incorporate the skits, the music, the singing, the rapping, and everything in my educational programs. Absolutely. Yeah, because they have a lot to offer, and my desire is to take them to the top.
Yes.
That's my desire. Yeah.
So,
and I'm not going to stop until it's done.
That's right. Yes.
I'm not going to stop. Yeah.
So what, for you, tell us about the vision, because for all of us who come from or go through something, which every human being does, right? What is the vision that you are creating with this?
The nonprofit.
Yeah, I mean, let me say this. It's not what is the vision that you're creating, but rather, is there a vision that you have of what life would look like for these young people, what resources they would have, and the world that they would have that inspires this work? Do you have a vision that you're moving towards, or?
Yeah, I desire, because, okay, I'm going to shift it just a little bit,
Yes.
but I got to give it to you straight and keep it 100. Because I was in a group home from the age of 13, 14, all the way up until I was 18 years old, my desire is to build group homes all across the city. Yeah. And take talented teams to the top, whether it's movies, whether it's music, whatever the case may be, wherever I can open that door for them, but I'm thinking acting and music. That would be the vision. Yeah. The entertainment industry and shelter where they can develop their gifts and talents. So I desire to have group homes throughout the city, Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, all over the city. That's my heart's desire.
Yes. What is
Because
it
see,
that,
if they're in an environment where, there's nothing but haters and you ain't shit, they're constantly being put down. They need to be in an environment that's productive, that would help them develop, and an environment that's full of encouragement. You see?
yes.
I mean, if you're determined to win, you can make it in any environment. Let me just say that. If you're determined to win, you can make it in any environment. You got that wisdom, knowledge, and you're determined to win. You can make it in any environment. But if you have a facility, a group home, or a place where you can go that's full of encouragement and empowerment, it's much easier.
Were there any people during your youth when you were in the group homes, adults that were like,
Nah,
guardian angels?
no. Nah, that's why I know in my heart this is something I want to do. Yeah, I didn't have that encouragement. I did not have it. And I realized how important it is. Yeah.
So
Supportive.
you grew that loving relationship with God within you, and you grew that relationship with yourself of determination and encouragement so that you could then, now pour it out into the world.
With
Tell
God's
us,
help, yes.
but I think,
Yes.
like sometimes we can say like, keep going, or we can say encouraging things, but like you said about the clay, that like sometimes when you're being molded, it doesn't always feel good. And so sometimes we run away from the healing that we need because it doesn't feel good or comfortable. If you want to share anything about that journey for you, how you kept going even when some of that
The
molding
pain
was
was there.
Yeah.
Ooh. Wow. Yeah, I got to share this because God has given me a flash of what He wants me to share here. Part of my deliverance. I got this CD from an organization. I can't remember the name of the organization, but I just knew once I got this CD in my hand that I was going to get healed. I knew that I was going to make it to the next level. Make a long story short, I'm on 125th Street in Harlem, walking down the block. I decide to play the CD in my headphones. And right there, as I listened for probably not even 5 minutes, I burst out crying hardcore right there. The healing was beginning. And I was like, oh no, Lord. I took those headphones off. I said, I gotta wait until I get to the house because I was really bawling, right?
Yeah.
So by the time, let me tell you something, healing is so important because, and this is what I specialize in victories, experience victory sessions, healing is available, all that stuff is available. It's really available. This is what God wants to do. He wants to love, He wants to hug, and He wants to heal. But to get back to your question, by the time I got to the crib, I had to go through the process of healing. So what has to happen is you have to sit back, and every single situation in your life, you may have to go back to when you was 5 or 6 years old, maybe, some people. And you have
Yes.
to look at these things and get with the Lord. And like I said, I had a CD, and it was piece by piece. And girl, it was something else. But by the time I was finished, I felt like a brand new person. I felt totally amazing. And that healing session went on for probably about 45 minutes or an hour. While it was happening, it was painful. But by the time it ended, I was set free.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And these healing is available to everyone. Let me just say that. Yeah.
Yes. And I always say to people, because growing up, I was like the crybaby, and that was so embarrassing for me, in my family, because being labeled as sensitive. But as I get older, I realize that is actually a gift. It's a blessing. It's a power to be able to feel, slow down and really feel the pain, or feel the heartbreak, or feel the grief or the anger, and then let it pass through you. And when you have a safe person, whether it's a counselor, a coach, a loved one, who can just hold that space for you and let you release all of it, it is like night and day. And I'll tell you, in my family, a lot of people struggle with substance abuse. And when I have these counseling sessions where maybe I'm crying for 45 minutes about something that happened so long ago, and I didn't even realize it was still bothering me, but it's something somebody said or did in the current moment just lit my whole body up with anger or sadness. And then here I am crying in the session. I realized in that moment, oh, this is why so-and-so drinks. Or when I was younger, I used to drink and smoke. And it's like, oh, this is why we were doing this, because don't nobody want to feel all this that's packed back there so tightly. But then once, like you said, once we walk through it, especially if we don't, especially if we're connected, to a higher power, connected to somebody safe around us. So with the healing work that you do one-on-one sessions with people, and with adults and with youth, or just with youth, so folks know?
Specifically the youth, but I'm available for the adults also. But I got to keep it 100. I put the youth first.
Yes.
Like Whitney Houston said, the children are our future.
Yes. Yes. And if there's a young person who currently is in the system, living in a group home, is there something that you want to say to them to offer them hope, to offer them, what would you want to say?
Hey, put God first. God first is not a religion, it's a relationship. He wants to be a father to the fatherless. He wants to be your daddy. He wants to comfort you, take care of you. He has a plan to prosper you and not to harm you, but to give you hope and an expected end, a good future. That's what I would like to say. And I wish someone could have told me that when I was 13, 14 years old, smoking blunts and carrying on, but I didn't have it. I didn't have that available to me. So here I am sharing the good news with you. That's good news.
Yes, it is. And in this season of your life, would you say that that's the message, that's the core message that you're sharing through all the different types of work, whether it be the book, whether it be the one-on-one sessions or the workshops or the music? Would you say that that's the core of your message?
I have so many messages really, but to be quite frank with you, the core would be, because, then we have people that are not spiritual at all. So I respect that also. You know what I mean? I respect that, and I will work with them where they are. But the core of my message would be, God is love. He loves you with an everlasting love. everlasting, eternity, all for all eternity. He loves you. And I would say, put him first.
Hmm.
And everything you need will be added unto you. What you need.
What does, if someone is trying to establish
A
a
relationship?
relationship with a higher power, right?
Yeah.
What would you say, like, what does it look like on a daily basis to put God first?
For me, okay, keeping it straight and keeping it 100.
Yes.
Yeah. In the morning, of course, there's some meditation on the word. I'm meditating on the word, whether it's just for 2 or 3 minutes, or whether it's for 5 or 10 minutes, or even if it's just for 1 minute, getting that scripture. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. You know, just taking out a scripture, whatever scripture you need, or whether it's healing, whatever scripture you need to meditate on. Then, of course, some time in prayer. You want to hear what's on his calendar, what's on his agenda for the day or the week or the month or the day, you know, because remember, he is the potter, we're the clay. We didn't make him, he made us for a purpose. So you, like, Lord, what's on your agenda for me today? You know what I mean? Who would you have me to meet? What would you have me to do besides, you know, my 9 to 5, or besides my school, or family stuff? Is there anything else? What's on your heart? You want to be able to hear from him. Because remember, it's not a religion, it is a relationship, and he does speak. And one of the ways he speaks is through his word. So yeah, it's meditation in the morning. I'm sorry, I kind of went off a little bit. A little
No,
bit.
this is good. Thank
He's
you.
here. He's here. He's here. He's here.
Hey.
Oh man, and he's fun too. He has a great sense of humor, and we were made in his image and in his likeness. That's why we have a sense of humor, because we were made in his image and his likeness. So it's a little bit of meditation in the morning, and then I'm going to crack that Bible open, or I'm going to have some time in prayer, and I want him to order my steps, which is so important. Because you don't want to be on the wrong block at the wrong time, because there's so much going on out here. Pow, 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 pow. There's so much going on in the world today. So you don't want to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. You want God to order your steps. If that's your only prayer, please, Father God, order my steps today so I don't get in any trouble, and protect me. Yeah, order my steps. You don't want to be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Thank you so much for sharing that. No, for real. I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful for how you show up and your authenticity and the way that you bring yourself fully to every space. And just, again, so grateful that I and that anyone who watches this gets to witness and be inspired by your light. So, I mean, I want the people to know before we close, like, how can they invest in the work that you're doing in your legacy? How do they purchase your books? And how do they learn more about Meeting the Need Consulting? How do they stay connected with your inspirational work and your music?
Okay.
Let us know.
Okay. For the youth work, meetingtheneedconsulting.com, my website. If you go to www.meeting, MEETING, the need, THEN as in Nancy, EED, meetingtheneedconsulting.com. You can hit me up over there. For the books, you would go to extraordinarywictory.com. That's not with the E, it's with the X.
Yeah.
Extraordinarywictory.com. You go to the e-shop, and there you will see the memoir. I'm in my purple hair.
Yes. Yes,
Um,
you
you
are.
yeah. The memoir is there. And if you purchase the memoir, because I'm telling you, you're going to be blessed and it's going to help you. If you purchase the memoir, it's at a very reasonable price. I will give you the suicide prevention book for free, and I will give you a free 20-minute consultation where you can experience victory. And we can talk about whatever you want to talk about, strictly confidential. Free
Yes.
on me.
Y'all
So it's
better.
Meeting the Need Consulting. I hope everybody's writing it down. You got pen and paper. Got that pen and paper. Yeah, Meeting the Need Consulting. And then we have also the other website is extraordinarywictory.com.
Yes. Y'all better stop playing. A free 20-minute consultation. That's
Yeah.
Get it while you can, while she's
Yeah,
making
while
this
it's
available.
available. Exactly. While it's
Correct.
available. Get on the calendar. Get on the calendar.
That's right. So, do you have any shout outs that you want to give to folks before we go?
Yeah, to the legends, DJ Flame, special shout out, big shout out to DJ Flame, big
Yes.
shout out to the Sugar Hill Gang, the Furious Five. Let's see, big shout out to Coco, Deborah Carter, special shout out to Roxanne Shante, special shout out to Sha Rock, the very first female MC.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, special shout out to DST and his crew. Let's see. There's so many people. Special shout out to King Charlie Prince. Okay. Special shout out to Jay Kitts. Some music producers. Yeah, some great music producers, pioneers, legends. Special shout out to DJ Jerry D. And shout out to my girl Coco. Thank you for having me, honey. Thank you for having me. I just had a ball. I had a good time.
Thank you so much. It's really an honor. Like I said, y'all didn't catch this because we wasn't recording yet. Before we started recording, I was over here. I was like, I couldn't sleep last night. I was so nervous. And then I woke up extra early. We are so fortunate to have you. Thank you for your life, for your service, for your truth. Thank you for making the decision to answer the call. You talked about going through that period where God is speaking to you, telling you that you are victorious, that you are victory. And at first you were like fighting it. Thank you for being willing to face that process of healing, that process of feeling the pain of going, like you said, going all the way back to when you were young and releasing that so that you could be here and so that you could be the embodiment of victory and such an emanating light. We are so grateful to have you come back anytime. Okay.
All right, girl.
Let us
Gotta
know
come back and bring the crew, right?
Whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it, come back anytime. Thank you so much, Queen.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah.